Welcome to the 10th Annual Hall of Champions Induction Banquet. Tonight is a very special night for us because we're once again able to talk about the rich athletic traditions at Long Beach City College. Specifically, we're here tonight to induct 8 outstanding competitors and coaches involved with Long Beach City College athletics. In addition, we're able to collectively recognize and honor 6 individuals as emeritus inductees. You know, this particular evening always becomes a special event when this gymnasium once again comes alive with stories of the past. This Viking spirit that we all know will once again be felt tonight right here in this gym, I guarantee it. And we're glad that all of you joined us. Not all our inductees were able to join us this evening, but the vast majority of them are here, and we're very thankful for their attendance. To begin this evening, we want to direct your attention over to this northwest corner of the gym so we can welcome those honorees or family representatives who could attend as they take their seats. We like to call this little part of the program our Parade of Champions, so cue the music, please.
Time after time, I've done my sentence, but committed no crime.
Representing track and field, a coach who has a huge impact on many different world-class athletes for many years. Please welcome Baruch Elias. Now entering the gym, another emeritus inductee, representing the sport of baseball during the 1958 and 1959 seasons, Bill Ellis. Bill, I apologize. I said baseball. Look at the size of this guy. This is basketball we're talking about here. Now we're talking about a standout baseball player from LBCC in 1940 and 1941. He's being represented tonight by his daughter, Judy Vanetta. Please welcome her on behalf of her talented coaching father, Bill Crutchfield. Our final emeritus inductee who could attend this evening is another outstanding athlete who represents the sports of both water polo and swim, and a member of a couple championship teams from 1959 to 1961. Please welcome Paul Zach. Two of our emeritus inductees are not able to be here tonight to receive the recognition they so rightfully deserve, but Chuck McFerrin will make a few brief remarks about them later tonight. Now, the rest of our honorees are those individuals who attended Long Beach City College and competed or coached during a more recent point in time, and they'll be officially inducted this evening. Let's now meet this group. Our first honoree is an individual who was recognized as an MVP standout in the sport of football during the 1971 and 1972 seasons. Please welcome Bill Cecil. Congratulations, Bill. Got the Bill Cecil fan club back there. I like it. Hey, our next inductee had very successful careers both as a competitor and as a coach, representing the sport of track and field from 1962 to 1963. Please give a welcoming round of applause for Tim Russell. You know, Long Beach City College is fortunate to have many, many state and national titles. A couple of those are because of our next inductee. She led her teammates in the sport of soccer during the 1999 and 2000 season. Please say hello to Michelle Bannister.
You brought me fame and fortune and everything that goes with it. I thank you all, but it's been no bed of roses, no pleasure cruise.
Now entering the same gymnasium where he regularly showed off his skills in basketball during the 1969 and 1970 seasons, one of which where he served as captain. Please welcome Jim Ferguson.
Champions, my friends, and we'll keep on fighting till the end. We are the champions.
You know you're a talented athlete when you can compete at the college level in more than one sport. Please welcome our next inductee who did just that. Representing the sports of basketball and volleyball from 1981 to 1983, please welcome Carrie Jondal Burke.
And we'll keep on fighting till the end. Oh, we are the champions. We are the champions.
That's two huge fan clubs. I love it. Joining us tonight, let's welcome an athlete who competed in 1986 and 1987 representing the sport of golf. He has enjoyed an outstanding career at the college level and as a professional. Please welcome one local pro, Trevor Baker. Next is a very successful coach and athletic director who just happened to be a world-class athlete. Representing the sport of track and field during the 1988 to 1990 seasons, please welcome Crystal Irving. As you can see, before our final inductee joins us, I know a number of his former players, many of whom played in the professional ranks, want to properly greet him. Guys, I'm glad you're in place and you still know how to hustle. I like that. So how do you really appropriately introduce someone who is considered a legend in the sport of basketball? I guess all you can really say is, welcome home, Coach Lute Olson.
And everything that goes with it. I thank you all, but it's been no bed of roses, no pleasure.
Thank you guys very much.
I consider it a challenge before the whole human race, and I ain't gonna lose.
Is this room full of talent or what? Huh?
We are the champions.
Thank you very much. We have a slight change of plans in the program tonight. Our superintendent president, Eloy Oakley, was going to join us. He is up in Sacramento, even as we speak, working with some of the budget woes that we have here in the state of California, particularly as it affects our community colleges systems. But I am very, very pleased to introduce someone brand new to Long Beach City College who is going to have some direct contact with athletics and the area of physical education from this point forward. Please welcome, to give a general introduction, welcome to you, Dr. Greg Peterson.
Thank you for joining us this evening. This is an amazing event. I'll tell you, being new to Long Beach City College, it's the tradition and legacy here that brought me, and it's the people in this room that made that legacy. We're so glad that you could join us this evening. I know President Oakley doesn't get to be here, and I'm glad I get to be him, to be at this event. We truly are honored with your presence and hope we have a wonderful evening. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Greg. We really do appreciate that. I'd now like to invite Ernie McBride Jr. to the podium to deliver this evening's invocation. Ernie is a member of our class of 2009 inductees of our Hall of Champions, who is known for both his football and track skills, and also as an excellent youth coach in the city of Long Beach. He's not only a good man, but remains a very loyal friend of Long Beach City College. Ernie, would you please give us the invocation?
Thank you. I'd like everyone to have a moment of prayer for the nation of Japan and its people. Okay, Almighty Creator, we'd like to ask your blessings for the athletes, family, and friends that are in this building tonight. And although this is a joyous occasion, we still have to remember other people in the world that's not as fortunate as we are. So please bless the food and each individual here. Amen.
Thank you very much, Ernie. Just so you'll know, our meal tonight is prepared by a local caterer, the Grand of Long Beach, so I hope you enjoy your meal. And the most important thing I want to point out is that the individuals who are serving you this evening are all current student athletes at Long Beach City College. These are the individuals all of us here at the college work so hard to support, both as students and as student athletes. So I hope as they serve you this evening, you'll take a few moments to say hello, ask them a little bit about their career plans, their majors, what sport they're participating in, and just enjoy the service. So now please enjoy not only your meal, but the great company and friendship sitting all around you. Enjoy your meal. Thank you very much. Did you enjoy your meal? All right. It's better than hot dogs in a gym, I guess. So we want to thank our caterer tonight again, and who I really want to thank are the individuals again that we're here for. So if you'll kind of look to the rear of the room, these are our student athletes, and again, I'd like to thank them for serving this evening. You students are the reason we exist. You're exactly why we're here tonight. And I hope that tonight for you was special. I hope you made some contact with some wonderful role models, and you'll take this evening with you and turn it into something special for yourself as you move forward with your educational careers and your life plans. Thanks again. You know, as the Dean of the School of Physical Education and Athletics, it truly is a pleasure to be able to connect with a group of colleagues who work hard every day and truly understand the concept of being a team. That's what everybody in this room understands, is what teamwork is about. To help move the program along this year, rather than introduce everyone individually, I would like to introduce some collective groups who contributed to the success of our athletic program. So individuals, please forgive me for not naming you name by name, but rather than by group tonight. First, putting together a major event like this banquet takes a collective effort, and I'd like to just take a moment and ask those who helped plan, coordinate, and set up for this evening's event, and all of you, please stand to be recognized, and let's give them a collective round of applause. Come on. These are our PE and athletic staff, our sports information specialists, our media, sound folks, our community relations and marketing staff, and all of our athletic associates, volunteers. So thank you all for helping out. Second, I'd like to acknowledge a group of individuals who continue the tradition set by their predecessors of being one of the best physical education faculty and athletic staffs around. They are a group of caring and committed individuals and coaches who always do a great job of taking care of our students and taking care of our student athletes. So would all our current LBCC faculty members, including coaches, please stand to be recognized. Now, I think they're going to be outnumbered, but would all our former LBCC faculty members, including coaches, please stand and be recognized? Come on. Now, I'm going to break my own rule here about naming individuals right now, but I would like our athletic directors to stand and be recognized. Two special people, Connie Sears and Randy Tutorp. I know that Chuck McFerrin is probably going to identify some individuals a little bit later in the program, so I'm glad he's going to do that so nobody's missed. We also do have some very special guests with us this evening who really do deserve some individual recognition. And first, some of our elected officials from the Long Beach City College, and that is our president of our Long Beach City College Board of Trustees and a former mayor of the city of Long Beach. Please welcome Dr. Tom Clark. Second from Area 4 is one of our board members, Doug Otto, and his wife, Frida. Doug? And Doug, it's so great to see you back in action, my friend. And as I mentioned, Superintendent President Eloy Oakley could not make it here, and he again gave me a personal call and wanted to extend his best wishes for all our inductees this evening. A couple of other individuals, you met Dr. Greg Peterson, but I do want to reiterate that he's from Hartnell College and is going to have more involvement with our athletic program and PE program, and we want to welcome you aboard, Dr. Greg Peterson. I think I've got all the other administrators in the room. I've got a couple others, though. I'd also like to acknowledge a few other elected officials from the city. A member of the Long Beach Unified School District Board of Education, and always an individual who has supported athletics at all levels in the city. Please welcome John Myers. Thank you, John. This is an introduction that I always love to make because she was one of my mentors, and I was fortunate enough to hold two of the positions that she had here at Long Beach City College. She's the former superintendent of Long Beach City College, as well as a two-term and a write-in term mayor for the city of Long Beach, always a Viking, Dr. Beverly O'Neill. You know, while tonight is really a positive and up night, it's really been a difficult week for the city of Long Beach, and I think we'd be remiss, because I think it's on a lot of people's minds here tonight, if we didn't take a moment to, like Ernie said, honor our global brothers and sisters lost in Japan's earthquake and tsunami, and a couple of our local business community leaders and businessmen who perished in a terrible plane crash here in Long Beach just a couple days back, and also the loss of a longtime friend of ours, Bill Thompson, just yesterday. So could we please take just a moment of silence for some reflection? Thank you very much. It's a bad week for the city of Long Beach, but a great week tonight, so we're back here at it. And I'd also like to introduce an individual who serves as a liaison for our athletic program for our Long Beach City College Foundation, and that is the fantastic and ever youthful Blanche Kennedy. Blanche, would you please stand? Thank you very much. And I think sitting with Blanche tonight is the executive director of the Long Beach City College Foundation, my good friend, Dr. Jenny Baxter. Jenny? And I think she's also hosting another well-known name here in the city of Long Beach who's done so much and so good for both Cal State Long Beach and Long Beach City. Where is Mike Walters? Mike, where are you? Please stand. Thank you, Mike. We have a few other community groups with us this evening, so I'd like to briefly thank the members of the press who showed up tonight: Long Beach Press-Telegram, Dave Felton, Long Beach Post, the Grunion Gazette, and our own Viking newspaper reporters. Our students are out there getting the news, so hopefully we'll have something in the paper next week right here. And I'd also like to thank my fellow members of the Long Beach Century Club, and for those of you who aren't familiar with the Long Beach Century Club, they're a great group of individuals who do nothing but raise money for sports in the city of Long Beach. And they always recognize the athletic community. And with the members of the Century Club who are here tonight, please stand and be recognized. I know I saw Greg Silver. I saw Steve Clapp. There's Bill Smitherin, Gary Anderson, Chuck McFerrin, on the group. So if you want to get involved in athletics citywide, that's a great group to know. I'm only going to give one more plug, and then I'm done, I promise. But I would like to encourage all of you who love to play the game of golf. You might want to get involved in one of our major fundraisers, the major fundraiser for our athletic program. It's scheduled for May 12th. It's the 28th annual golf tournament put on by the Athletic Associates. And we are going to honor this year, you already met him, Dr. Tom Clark, who's been an inductee in our Hall of Champions. And we're also going to put this on in memory of Sharon Raven, who was a athletic secretary in the athletic department for many years. And so we hope there's information in your program, and if you want to get involved, please come and see me later. A few people already have. There's some sponsors in this city that we all know, like Joe Jose and Sport Chalet, and United Parcel Service has gotten involved. And I think I saw Bruce McRae here from UPS. So Bruce, can you stand up so we can thank UPS right now? Thank you very much. So there's more information about the tournament, and if you'd like to get involved, please come and see me afterwards. One final introduction, then I'm done, and we'll get off the stage and we'll start our 2011 induction ceremony. This is a 10th anniversary. I mean, that's just a fantastic time for our Hall of Champions, and all of us connected in Long Beach City College are so proud of where we've come and what we've done with this event and what it's meant to the inductees, the college, and the community in general to celebrate the rich athletic tradition here at Long Beach City College. This is something special. I've been to a lot of them at other colleges, and this has really turned into one of the premier events. It takes a team effort to make this type thing happen, but the initial concept and action belongs to Chuck McFerrin, who at that time was the athletic director at Long Beach City College. And Chuck retired a few years back, but he still loves to stay engaged with the community and these programs. And we need Chuck's expertise, and we need his commitment, but we also need his leadership, because that's what he brings to this institution in this particular event. And it's funny, Chuck and I were here this morning opening bottles of wine about 10 o'clock, and we started a little conversation about, we realized how long we've been putting on events together. Chuck and I go back to about 1975 when we were both employees of the Long Beach Unified School District as faculty members and activities directors at different high schools, and it's still a blast to work together because we both just kind of like to get things done. I know that's his feeling, and it's mine too. So, Chuck, I'm proud to call you my friend, and if you could please come up and step up to the podium now, we can begin to present and install the class of 2011 into the Long Beach City College Hall of Champions. Chuck? All right, thank you. All right. Get rid of this and get out of your way.
Well, welcome. This is such a beautiful night, I think, for the city of Long Beach, and to honor the people that we honor, but just to tell stories and tell bigger lies than we've told before. It's just a good time to get together. I hope you took a little time to browse in our Hall of Champions, or if you get by the college again another time, you'll take some time to do that. There's a tremendous history displayed on those plaques in the walls in there, and look up at the banners of all of the state and national championships. And on another wall, there's all of the names of the coaches that have won national and state championships. So we're real proud of our athletic heritage here. And of course, we got started a little late with this. The college began in 1927, and we didn't start this till about 2000. So we've had to play a lot of catch up. But tonight I think we're bringing in like our 127th inductee over the last 10 years. We created a program which I'll say a little bit about called our Emeritus Program for people who were 50 or more years removed. And we did a celebration for them about a month ago. And they're here tonight with us again. And then we bring in our more modern athletes that are being inducted for the first time tonight. So sometime when you've got some time, I wouldn't say it's the Smithsonian, but there's a lot of things to look at in that foyer out there and bring back a lot of memories. This has been a little bit of a difficult banquet for me to prepare for, only because, you know, it's kind of special, the 10th year, a decade of this, and so if you'll permit me through the evening, I'm going to, from time to time, throw out a little decade moment, something that just comes to my mind that's from the last 10 years and some people who have been pretty special, and I'll share that with you. I'd like at this time, though, to announce those who are in attendance tonight, who were past inductees from previous years. So just hold your applause till they're all introduced. I believe we have, I think I've seen them all that are here tonight, 22 different people from past inductions. So when I call your name, would you please rise and remain standing till everybody has been called, and then we'll give them a round of applause. So we have Margaret Boss from volleyball and basketball, Paul Chafe from a coach in golf and football, Tom Clark, cross country and track, Ron Crawford in aquatics, Bill Frazier, coach, Dave Frost, basketball. I see we've got down here track, Dave. That's, I don't know what event would be your event in track, so that's a mistype, I think. Greg Harris, baseball. Joe Hicks is represented by his wife, Joyce, baseball coach. Gary Jake Jacobson, coach, volleyball, football. Jim Kelsey, aquatics. Joe Lanning, coach, track and football. Ernest McBride Jr., football and track. Cliff Meyer, our only three-sport person here, football, basketball, and baseball, represented by his son, John. Bob Myers, coach, baseball. Monty Niskowski, coach, aquatics. Dan Peters, basketball, baseball. Jeff Smith, football, track. Robbie Stewart, volleyball, and Chuck Terry, basketball. Let's give them a round of applause. And Donna Prendle. We want to save the best for the last. I'm sorry, Donna. My bad. Also want to give a special thank you to the selection committee. And so again, if you will allow me to name off the members and have them stand. If you turn in your program, you'll see their names listed as their selection committee. And we have most of them here tonight. Gary Anderson, please stand, rise, all of you. John Philpaugh, Gary Jacobson, Joe Lanning, Ernest McBride, Bob Myers, Donna Prendle, Connie Sears, Will Shaw, Robbie Stewart, Randy Tutorp, and Al Verdun he's not here, I guess. But that's our selection committee, minus a few. Thank you, committee. And there's always those people that work closest with you when you do something like this, and I'd like to have them recognized too, because they put in a lot of hard work. The photographs and a lot of the stats and all that sort of thing comes from our sports information director, Chris Ruiz. Would you please stand, Chris? Nice job. On the athletic office, we have Christy Lutz. Christy, are you here? She is not here. She's probably doing something for us. And I think Lucy was here, but she's gone as well. They worked the reception table. And Jerry Carter was the person who many of you know, and Jerry was responsible for our decorations. She's a little under the weather today, and so she went home. But that's a crew of people that I couldn't have done without. I also want to thank some local community people who have made our night more successful tonight. And that is the Cora Events with the food. And I know John made that comment, but I certainly didn't hear the round of applause for the quality of the food you had tonight. What'd you think of that food? I thought it was delicious. And also we got great support from Seaside Printing. Mark Cochran. Mark, where are you? Okay, Mark is just Mark has just had a hip replaced, so he doesn't go up and down as fast as he used to. There he is, okay. Thank you, Mark. And your wine was donated tonight by a person who's a past inductee who didn't want to have his name mentioned, probably because he didn't want to get hit up all the time, but we certainly appreciate that. So we get a lot of community support, and it's very special. Also, there's three women that I want. They've already been introduced. I didn't know John was going to mention them, but I want to introduce them. Obviously, we very much appreciate when somebody supports us with their monetary donations and financial support. And we got one here, a very special person to me, and I want to have her recognized. She's listed, if you go on the donor page there in the program, you'll see that she is, her name's not mentioned because it's in memory of Sam Hernandez. And Lucille Hernandez and Sam Hernandez, over the years, they contributed money to the athletic program, the men's and the women's program, and the Hall of Champions. And so you see her listed there as a platinum donor. And I want to, thinking back to 10 years ago when we're trying to get our footing and get going, and we needed something to upgrade the foyer and do a lot of put in some flooring, move the doors out, painting, all kinds of things that needed to be done. We needed that startup money. And so Lucille and Sam, and if you were ever at a basketball game for about 30 years or so, you would see Lucille and Sam sitting right about there, somewhere right in there, at just about every game. If it was a Poly game or a Viking game, they were there. So Lucille, would you please stand and be recognized for your generosity? Thank you. And then we had somebody to carry our water to the foundation. She was our liaison. And I'm talking about Blanche Kennedy. She carried the message for the Hall of Champions. And she took it to the foundation and pitched our cause. And they ended up becoming a diamond donor to our program. I remember she came over to the office after she got the affirmative vote. Walked in with a big smile on her face. We'll never forget that. She says, we got it. They're going to support us. And so, Blanche, would you please stand? Blanche Kennedy, Foundation. And, of course, anybody that knows how it works around here with the foundation, if you don't have Jenny Baxter on your side, it's an uphill sledding, that's for sure. And so, Jenny, we want to thank you because you've been our friend and you've helped us in the foundation. I know you've done a lot of things we probably don't even know you've done for us, but please stand and be recognized again. Jenny Baxter. So if you do feel as though what happens at a community college and an athletic program, how it develops young people and moves them on, I know they go to that 4-year university. And they walk around forever talking about, I went here, I went there, I went there. I hope you remember, though, that for many of you, you started here. And this was a place that launched you, gave you a place to be seen, developed your skills, allowed you to make a better choice when you decided to move on. And I hope that you appreciate that at some point where you feel like you can support back our athletic program and Hall of Champions. And so there's things in the program. I'm not going to beat on it, but if you have that desire to do, you know how to get in touch with us and participate and become one of our donors for our Hall of Champions and some of our projects that we're working on for the athletic department. The profits that we make here, and we don't make a huge number. We call this as, instead of fundraising, we like to think of it more as friend raising. And so, but we do come out of it a little bit with some funds, and that goes to some various special projects that the athletic department wants to work on. So you want to contribute to that, that would certainly be appreciated. So thank you very much for that. Let's move on and talk about our emeritus inductees. So if you'll turn with me in the program, I'm going to start off with, now to be an emeritus inductee, we have one exception here tonight. One exception here tonight in Baruch Elias, but to be somebody said, well, Baruch's not been gone 50 years and he's not deceased. Why did you bring him in as an emeritus inductee? Well, we just thought it was a better entree for Baruch, and you know, after tonight, no one will know the difference. His plaque's on the wall, and he's just like everybody else. But I'll get to Baruch. But the first person I am going to talk about is Bill Crutchfield, and he is. We have to go back in time and think about what life was like in the 1940s. We've had other inductees that came in, and you ask them, well, what were you thinking about? Where were you going to go? They said, you know, I was in school, and the war was breaking out, and I was just wondering if I was going to be alive a year from now. I wasn't worried about where I was going to get, I wasn't thinking about where I might get a scholarship. And Bill is one of those people that played here. He was our captain in 41. You see he had a nice batting average there if you're looking at the program. Went into the Marine Corps and became a dive bomber pilot. Was shot down 3 times. Was in the Philippines, captive for about 10 days. And the natives nursed him back to health and protected him till he could be rescued. And received 18 different medals, 2 Bronze Stars, 3 Distinguished Flying Crosses, presidential citations. Unbelievably decorated, one of the most highly decorated World War II Marine pilots in the war. And he goes through that, and then he goes to USC and starts to play baseball. Now that's a different world to go through what a person was through then, and then go play there. Played for Rod Dedeaux in one of his early teams, then played in the old Pacific Coast League, and then came back and coached for 32 years, starting out at Jordan and then ending up at Wilson High School. I actually played against a Crutchfield team. I was at Hawthorne High School, and they brought over a great team from Jordan in 1957 with Ron Fairley and Mike McGee and Shelby and a whole bunch of guys that some of you in town may know. And so I saw him as on the field as a coach. And what a wonderful man, and the things that were said about him at his funeral were just beautiful, how he was such a person to so many people. And probably the more down you were, the more up he was with you and to help you along. So we really honor him. We're very fortunate tonight to have representing him here, and they'd stand please, Judy Van Natta, his daughter, Dana McAdams, his granddaughter, and her husband Steve, and then there's Kelly Ewing, a great-grandson-in-law, and we got a great-grandson in Cole Ewing. So let's congratulate them on Bill's induction. Thank you so much. Now to Baruch Elias. Baruch is a one of a kind. They broke the mold with Baruch. I mean, he really came to us from Cal State Long Beach, where Ron Alice met him, where he came over there and he was working. Actually, he's got the equivalent of a PhD, but it's in Romania, and where's the paperwork? You know how those things can be. And so he's a very bright man, very well educated, highly trained, was one of the best coaches in Europe in the jump events and in conditioning. And so he comes to the United States, and he's working as a gardener at Cal State Long Beach, and Ron finds out about him, and like Ron does, he brings him into the program. He hears about him, knows who he is, and brings him in and gets him going. And then when Ron comes over here, Baruch comes over here, well, you see what he did. I mean, he's coached 14 state champions, 8 state champions, 8 triple jumpers, 4 high jumpers, 2 long jumpers. He had all of these crazy training techniques nobody ever heard of. I remember when we were doing the track out here, and I was the AD at the time, he wanted to build this ramp at the start of the straightaway. And if you're over watching a football game and you look at the track, you'll see a ramp out there. You say, what in the world's that for? Well, it does make a lot of sense. They put them in starting blocks. They're looking downhill. They come out of that starting block, they better move their legs, they're going to fall flat on their face. And so it's just a way to accelerate the start. It was his training technique, and everybody that comes to our track, and we have such good sprinters and hurdlers and whatever, they say, what's that? Well, that's the Baruch thing. So he's got all kinds of stuff. It's fun to watch him work with athletes, and he was very generous with his time with all sports. He was a strength and conditioning trainer for many teams. and he coached over 30 7-foot high jumpers at city or the Olympics or national teams. Speaks 4 languages. I said this at the emeritus induction. He's either coached or lectured in the following countries: Romania, Mexico, Poland, East Germany, Bulgaria, France, Spain, Yugoslavia, Turkey, Israel, Canada, Venezuela, and Korea. And I might not have got them all. So Baruch Elias. Please rise, Baruch. Okay. Our next emeritus inductee that came in a month ago was a basketball player who played as a starter here for 2 state championship teams. Both years he played here, they won the state championship in '58 and '59. He was an all-Metro Conference and an all-state player in his sophomore year. Went on to play for one of the early John Wooden teams at UCLA in '60 and '61. Started for 2 years there, was one of their co-captains. In his senior year, won the J.D. Morgan Memorial Award for Outstanding Team Player in 1961. Got drafted by the Lakers, but the team was full of All-Americans and couldn't hang with that team. But he was educated and ready to move on and went to work for the LAPD, where he became a senior detective. And from there, when he retired from there, he became a special investigator for the NBA. I mean, he'd tell us stories, but he'd have to kill us, I think, if he knew what was going on with some of those players. But Bill has had a tremendous life and is a wonderful man. It turns out that he was one of the guys I used to get on when I was at Cal, and he was at UCLA. We were there at the different schools at the same time. And he said he got a scholarship offer from Cal, and he was almost there, but then now I found out the real story. He told a bunch of other stuff at the emeritus thing, but tonight he told the real truth. He said he met the love of his life, Maxine, and she was going to UCLA, and that's where he went. Bill, would you stand? Maxine, would you stand too, please? Come. Gloria, I'm sorry, Gloria. Gloria. You know, but you said it was Maxine. Bill, you said it was Maxine. My bad. Okay. Gloria, you took that with such a smile. Thank you. It was so nice. Terry Hendricks, track athlete in '62, '63. He was a competitor in 4 events for us. You see there in the 220 highs and 110 highs, pole vault, long jumper. He was a Metro Conference 220 low hurdle champion, undefeated in the Metro Conference for 2 years in the 220 lows, was a state champion, set meet records, was a high point man for our first ever City College state championship team in track, 1963 with Joe Lanning. Joe Lanning said, and Terry's no longer with us, but Joe said that he'd say, go run 3 200-yard sprints, and Terry'd go run 6 200-yard sprints. And he said that he can't tell me the number of times that he was so exhausted, Terry was so exhausted at the end of a practice that Joe literally had to carry him off the track back to the locker room because he was just that worn out working out on the track. So we honor Terry Hendricks into our Hall of Champions. Rusty Fairley is up in Santa Barbara and unable to attend tonight. He was a quarterback for us, played some baseball. He was one of our co-captains, went on to Denver, where he was an all-Skyline Conference recipient, was an AP All-American, was an MVP in a Skyline Conference All-Star game and in a Sun Bowl game. Went on to Santa Barbara City College, coached 1 year of football at UC Santa Barbara with Cactus Jack Curtis, and then went on over to Santa Barbara City College. where he was the head baseball coach for 17 years, got into politics and became a city councilman and a mayor in the city of Santa Barbara, and was just recently inducted into the University of Denver Hall of Fame. A good friend of his, Joe Scomer, who worked with him up in Santa Barbara, told a cute story. He said whenever they would go play golf, that when they would get to a 3-par, and Rusty carried a bat in his golf bag, and he would toss the golf ball up and hit it with a bat on the 3-pars. And he said he was pretty good about getting the ball on the green. So kind of a unique story about Rusty, but it tells you about his athletic coordination. So Rusty Fairley, inducted. If you read down this list of accomplishments for Paul Zach, I mean, if there was anything that you could win when he was here or when he was at Cal State Long Beach, they won it in water polo and in swimming. And the only reason they didn't win a state championship in water polo when he was here is because they didn't have a state championship in water polo then. They just went as far as the SoCal, and that was the end of it. So they won the conference, they won the SoCal in polo and swimming. They won twice while he was here, so both years he was here, they won the conference, SoCal and state. He set Metro records. He was a state champion. He went on to Cal State Long Beach, where he turned them into being water polo champions for 3 years. He was an all-state selection. Then he went into swimming, set a record at Cal State Long Beach, was on several AAU national championship teams, was an AAU All-American, with just a tremendous water polo and swimmer. Monty Niskowski said to me at the emeritus induction, he says, there might be some guys that are better in water polo, there might be some guys better in swimming, but between him and Chuck Biddick, there can't be anybody better when you look at both of them, water polo and swimming. So let's recognize Paul Zach. This time I want to do one of these kind of decade moment things, and I want to call John Philpott up to the podium. John, where are you? John, this is kind of a bittersweet moment for me and a lot of other people at the college. John has announced that he's going to be retiring at the end of this year, the end of this academic year. So this doesn't mean he's excused from being on our selection committee. He's still going to be involved, but he's going to be leaving as the Dean of Physical Education and Athletics. The college is going to miss this guy. John, his day-to-day involvement, his care and concern for students, he's a solid and forever Long Beach guy who's just a treasure. Did we get an amen there? He's the guy that puts Long Beach in Long Beach City College. And it's people like this that we hate to lose, and we hope that the college never loses touch with him and that they care what he thinks and they call upon him and ask him questions and get guidance, because you just don't have this many years in this city and not know what's going on and give somebody some advice. John and I have touched 5 decades together professionally. He came to Jordan High School when I was a coach there, and we had a real special year. The team I coached went to Anaheim Stadium for the CIF championship game, and John was a new activities director, and so he got to be the guy to turn the lights out in North Long Beach when everybody went to Angel Stadium. And we had a great time. It was a wonderful year there. And then I went over to become an activities director. So he and I both did that. He was at Jordan. I was at Millikan. And then he came over here. He beat me over here by a couple of years. And then we're working together in student affairs. And then I moved into athletics, and he was involved with the purse strings for athletics, and then became the dean of athletics. So we've had a lot of good times together. I've been lucky to have a soulmate like John. Thank you. And I can't really put it all in words, but what I want to do is I'd like to give John a little Irish athletic appreciation with some hip hip hoorays. How about it? Hip hip hooray! Hip hip hooray! Hip hip hooray! Good going, John.
Very nice. Thank you very much. Enjoy. Go Vikings.
I had to call it an Irish appreciation thing, just because the Irish need all the credit they can get when, even if it's not true, knowing that, you know, when the good Creator gave the Irish and the Arabs a choice, and the Irish took potatoes, you know, you knew right then they were in trouble from that point on. And so we try to give them help whenever we can. Sorry, Fred Gallagher, I know that's not going to settle too well with you. Now to the main purpose of our evening. Honor our inductees. Each inductee will receive a plaque that's identical to the plaque that will be displayed on the wall. And they'll also get a life pass to any Long Beach City College event. So they're able to come back and watch their alma mater play. So let's begin. I'm going to start off with a guy that I was told carried the ball, didn't fumble much, could count on him, pretty dependable guy. He was a big contributor in football for us for 2 years in 71 and 2. He was the most valuable freshman player, a most valuable offensive player his sophomore year, rushing for over 1,000 yards. He was a Metro Conference Top Rusher Award. He was All-Metro. He was an All-American. His head coach, Gary Jacobson, made a statement that any player would love to hear his head coach say about him, and that was, he's an unselfish team player who always had his best games against the toughest competition. Later, he played for Oregon State, earning their Scholarship Attitude Award. From there, we took his bachelor's in finance degree and took it to work and is now a senior VP for Merrill Lynch. So we're going to recognize this time Bill Cecil. And Bill, stay there. Bill is being escorted up here to the podium by a quarterback, Ryan Craighead, who's one of our students. We like to try to connect our current students with our past students. Ryan originally is out of Wilson High School, the same school Bill's from, and was a starter early in the season before an injury, and he's probably going to be the favorite to start at quarterback next fall. All the best. It's all yours.
All right.
All yours. Go at it.
Okay.
Let me get this out of your way.
Clear the deck. All right, now what, huh? Well, I had my speech, and it's right here, and well, I'll just wing it for a bit, okay? When I got the call from 2009 inductee Coach Jacobson, it was in December, and I said, oh no. And my family and my wife was all fired up about it because they knew that I had to get serious about losing some weight. So, because I had to resemble something of a running back. Like, you know, that picture out there, that was a 30-inch waist. I can't do that anymore. So anyway, I kind of went at it at that, and so I did my best. So anyway, my journey here tonight started in the summer of 1967. And I was right before 9th grade. I had gone to summer camp and came back, and I'd broken up with my girlfriend. I was all bummed. And the telephone rang on a Sunday afternoon. This is a true story. And it was my Little League coach, Del Holm. He's passed away now. And he says, how'd you like to play some tackle football? And I was pumped up. I was ready for a challenge, ready for something new. So he put me in touch with Chet Prosser over at the Belmont Bears. And so I played that year in 9th grade tackle football for the very first time. Fortunately, I had a couple of brothers, my brother Joe, brother Greg. They guided me along. And I went to Wilson High School, where Skip Rowland coached me there. Skip's here tonight. Skip told me, he says, you know, anybody can run with the football, but in order to be a complete running back, you got to learn how to block. So he taught me that, and that served me well here at City and as well as at Oregon State. I came here, and the first time I stepped on this campus was much like right out there in that foyer. Coach Jake at the time was trying to bring these kids from these high schools, the local high schools, and there was about 60 or 70 of us out there that wanted to play, incoming freshmen. And he's had everybody introduce themselves, and we're all kind of glaring at each other, you know, because we had these high school rivalries still. And Jake did a marvelous job breaking down those barriers so that we could become a team and one of the best group of guys I ever played with. So thank you, Jake, for doing that. And of course, in your program, you saw a little clip there talking about some long run, 75 yards run against Fullerton. Well, I'll tell you a little bit about that game. And I think there's a pivotal point in every athlete's career. And for that sophomore season, that was about the fourth game of the season. We were undefeated, and we were playing Fullerton at Anaheim Stadium. Pretty big game, you know. It was at a pretty big venue, Anaheim Stadium, and it was late in the game. It was late in the game, but during that game, I was splitting time with the freshman tailback, and I was like, I don't dig this. And we got the ball back. It was late in the game. We were losing, and Jake had the headphones on. He was on the sidelines talking to the man in the sky booth, you know, the offensive coordinator, and I won't mention his name. But they were arguing about who was going to go in on that series. Well, Jake's the head coach. He called my name and put me in. Well, it wasn't a 75-yard run, Jake. It was a 52-yard run. And we ended up winning the game, and from that point on, I never looked over my shoulder. The position was mine, and it turned out, you know, to be a great year. So I thank you, Jake. On the academic side, well, as an athlete here, we had very good counseling. Coach Lute Olson was our academic counselor here amongst his duties as the head boys basketball coach. So you go into his office, sit down and say, oh, I want to major in business. You know, I go, well, you got to take Russ Harsland for Econ 1 and, you know, trigonometry. You know, he's an easy teacher. So one of the classes he told me to take, it was a 1-unit, 1-hour class once a week. It was called Library Science. Well, the only thing I knew about the library was that, well, you couldn't talk in the library. So I never really went to the library. I knew nothing about it. So in this class, they taught you how to research, how to use, I learned the Dewey Decimal System, which, you know, we didn't have the internet back then. Google was just an ordinary word in the dictionary. But it taught me how to do research and to embrace the academics here. And so I took that from here and I used it at Oregon State, and, you know, thank God I was able to get my degree and concentrate on the academic side of things. So, Lute, I did get an A in that class too. So and I stress to the young people that served us tonight, saying that, you know, this experience here at Long Beach City College was one that, you know, I look back and yes, I was like a lot of kids coming out of high school, not a place to go. We didn't have the money to go to a 4-year institution. Where are you going to go? Going to City College. Sure, we all did that. And, you know, I look back on it, and it was a very, very valuable experience. And the group of people that are here with me tonight to honor me, I'd say over half of them attended Long Beach City College at one time or in their lives, too. In fact, my dad played baseball here in 1941. Diamond Cecil played alongside Bill Crutchfield 70 years ago. My brother Joe wanted to go to USC and graduate from USC. He went to City first and then transferred in. My brother Greg wanted to be a policeman, and he took police science here and became a policeman at the Long Beach Police Department for many years. So it is a key stepping stone that I will treasure and never forget. So tonight I'd like to thank my wife Candy. I'd like to thank my kids, Patrick, Natalie, Cassie, Russell. Love you guys. My dad is here tonight. My brother Joe, my brother Greg, their families, all my friends, you honor me with your presence. And Chuck, thank you to the Board of Trustees for digging deep in that archive, digging deep in that archives of names to pull my name out. And I appreciate it very much. So thank you for the honor tonight.
Here you go. Here you go. Oh, that's your picture back, and that's your plaque. Okay. That's a 30-inch waist design. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Okay. Bring it down.
Thank you.
What a crowd here for you, Bill. Nice job. This podium looks like it. I won't say it. Excuse me. Our next inductee comes to us from two sports, but predominantly from track. He was a football player as well, and an outstanding one. He's living the good life up in the state of Washington, and so we're happy to have him down here. It was track where he really took things to the highest level, and he set records in the 100, the 220, the 440. Actually, the program's wrong. He's got a time better than what we have in the program. In the 100, he actually ran a 9.5, which is a pretty good time in a 100-yard dash in those days. Both years, he was a Metro Conference champion in the 100 and the 220. He was a major point man along with that Terry Hendricks that we talked about earlier on that great 63 Joe Lanning track state championship team for track. And after City, he went on to play football and run track at BYU. He set records at BYU in the 100 and 220. He was an All-American in the mile relay. And after coaching at BYU, he came back to Long Beach City College to assist Joe in being a sprint coach. At this time, I want us to recognize Tim Russell. Tim is being escorted by one of our hurdlers, Vanny Prudhomme. Vanny was a two-time state champion in the 110 highs. He was undefeated in the high hurdles in his 2 years here at City, and he currently holds the 4th fastest time in school history in the 110 high hurdles. It's all yours, Tim. All yours, buddy.
Well, what a deal. Wonderful people. I haven't been back here since '69. Joe Lanning called me 49 years ago, one night at home, wanted to meet with me. Showed up down here at a restaurant. I don't even know where it is anymore. Him and Jim Stanglin. Well, I had a steak and they had some salad. I guess that was for their weight. So, wanted to remember Dr. Kashiwabara. And I'm sure he has healed and fixed many people here. I didn't know he was gone till last week, so I wish we would remember him. Terry Hendricks was mentioned earlier. We talk about memories and effort from all of our athletes. Oh, the Southern California Finals Mile Relay. It all goes with the effort that our young people put forth. George Davis ran the 880. He was our third man on the relay team, and he got sick after the 880. Joe brought the team together, needed a volunteer. Terry Hendricks was the first one to raise his hand. Well, if you never run a 440, you'd be surprised what happens after 300 yards. Terry did a great job till he got around 300 yards, and then it looked like he was giving a piggyback ride to Jeff Smith. Joe Lanning made this happen for me. Gentle voice, loud voice, never seen any anger from him, yell and scream only when he golfed. I thank everybody, the trustees, and oh, what a wonderful gathering. Thank you.
So nice to have you here.
Thank you.
Do you know a guy named Gene Gillies?
I do.
You guys are cut out of the same cloth, and that's a compliment, I think. Here you go, buddy.
Okay.
Thank you.
Isn't that beautiful?
It is.
Okay.
Yeah, enjoy it. Thank you. Go quick one. Our next inductee is the kid of the class of 2011, and she's only the second athlete to be inducted into our Hall of Champions whose participation was in the 21st century. She last competed here in year 2000. But how can you deny one of your athletes who was voted by the National Soccer Coaches of America, listen to this carefully, the Junior College National Player of the Year. In both years, she was All-Conference, an All-American, and All-West Region selection. In 2000, she was the Conference Player of the Year. During her 2 years at City, her teams were 46-5 and won a state championship. From here, she went on to Cal State Fullerton, where she received all Big West honors and ranked high there for kicking winning goals at Cal State Fullerton. So let's welcome Michelle Bannister. Michelle is being escorted by a defender on our soccer team, Mary Shank. Mary was the 2010 South Coast Conference Defensive Player of the Year. She was also a first-team all-conference selection as a freshman. As a sophomore, she was selected as her team captain and her team MVP. Congratulations.
Thank you all here. Sorry, I'm a soccer player, not really a public speaker. So I just want to say, I just want to thank you all for joining us this evening as I stand here before you to accept this great honor. I would like to recognize and give a special thanks to my parents who can't be here this evening for all their love and support that they've had throughout my life, my family, my friends, God for taking me through this journey, and my wonderful fiance, Greg Wise, who's here with me tonight. The reason I attended Long Beach City College was because a special person by the name of Scott Snow encouraged me to come here. He actually hounded me to come here. He said, you basically need to come here and play because it's a better school than Cypress College. So I just want to thank you for persuading me to get here to Long Beach City and for coming and show your support here tonight this evening. Mickey Davis was our athletic director, and she was such a sweet woman and always provided us our clean uniforms. Our coaches, Mauricio and Gracia and Alex Camargo, I just wanted to say thanks for pushing me to succeed in school and also out in the field. And it was such a pleasure to be here and to bring home a championship at the same time. Chuck McFerrin, Connie Sears, Christy Lutz, and the staff here at Long Beach, thanks for putting together this extravagant event. It's sure a lovely evening tonight, and I just want to thank you for all the hard work you've put in tonight. I'm so happy I chose to play soccer in college because I probably wouldn't have gone to school if I didn't play a sport, basically, because school was not like my strong point. So it basically school taught me how to be disciplined, responsible, and have values to take me where I am today. And with that said, I hope you all enjoy the rest of your evening, and thanks again for this award.
Sorry, I was so nervous. Oh, you did great. You did great. Just a second. Our next inductee comes to us from the sport of basketball. He's the type of player that glues a team together. He's the one that makes everyone around him a little bit better, and that's quite a compliment in a team sport. Jim really came alive when Lute Olson came to Long Beach City College in Jim's sophomore year. He was picked as the team co-captain on that 1970 state runner-up, championship runner-up team. They set and he set a single-season assist record that year. Gary Anderson, who played with him, made this comment: when Jim has the ball and he isn't looking at you, get ready, because the pass is coming. And that's the kind of guy that will lead a team in assists. He still holds the City College single-season free throw record at about 86%. He moved on to TCU, Texas Christian University, and he pretty much did the same things there. Set TCU records in assist and free throw percentage. He was twice an All-Southwest Conference and an All-District selection. He led TCU to a conference championship and into the second round of the NC2A tournament. And after he was finished playing, he came back to his home to Long Beach, went to work as a coach, and was at Poly for 4 years, was at Wilson for 29 years. And if you look at the program, I'm not going to go through it here, but I mean, he had some outrageously good results at both schools. And so tonight we honor Jim Ferguson. Jim's being escorted by a forward on our basketball team, Jared Garber. Jared was a second-team All-South Coast Conference selection this past season. Go get him, Jim.
It's hard to believe it's been 41 years since I was playing in this gymnasium. It still looks great, and it was one of the greatest times of my life. It seems almost like yesterday, but I guess that's one of those things when you have fond memories of someplace, I think the memories seem to last longer. Junior college basketball in 1969 was probably a little bit different than junior college basketball is now. Those of us who played during that time, you had your choice, but the freshmen were not eligible yet in the four-year schools. So a lot of people who were able to play four-year colleges opted not to and just went to junior college at that time for the simple reason that the competition was better, the coaching was top-notch. You got 30 games in instead of a watered-down 12 to 16 game freshman schedule at some of the larger universities. Junior college basketball was really at a strong point. In Southern California during the late 60s, the coaches, a lot of household names in basketball through the years. Bobby Dye was involved at Santa Monica at the time. I'm sure all of you who are as old as we are remember his run in taking Cal State Fullerton to the Final Four. Jim Killingsworth was at Cerritos at the time. Jerry Tarkanian was at Pasadena. Lute Olson was at Long Beach City College. The list goes on, the amount of coaches that just went on to unbelievable careers that started in the JUCO ranks during the time. It was a dream year in 1970 for me and for Long Beach City College in a lot of ways. We had had a very successful year in 1969, and we came in with a new coach. Lute Olson came in 1970. And we had a lot of talent coming back, but he put us in a situation in a system that was perfect for the 12 to 14 of us that were on the team that year. We weren't overly large, but we were very quick. We had a lot of people who were very unselfish, and we clicked. It was a near perfect season. We missed by 1 second on 2 different occasions, winning the state championship. So it was a dream year for all of us, and I think one of the highlights of all of us who played on that team. From here, I left and went to Texas Christian University. It's a small private. It's probably more well-known in California now than it was when I chose to go to TCU. They had a great victory in the Rose Bowl this year, and their football program is top-notch. It's the Southwest Conference at that time included University of Texas, University of Arkansas, Texas A&M, It was a football conference, so to speak. In those days, Darrell Royal and Frank Broyles were at Texas and Arkansas, and the 3 years that I was there, Texas and Arkansas were number 1 and number 2 in the nation, and it was big time college football. Basketball was kind of an afterthought in Texas, but it was on the upswing, and I think TCU was one of the schools that provided that upswing. In 1967, TCU integrated basketball for the first time in the Southwest Conference. Now that sounds like a strange thing for all of us from California, but in Texas and in the South it was real. And we had the first integrated team in 1967. When I went to TCU in 1971, we had our starting lineup. There were 2 of us who were white, and we had 3 black players in the Southwest Conference, which was just unheard of at that time. We had some interesting happenstances as a result of it, and it was a great learning experience for me, and a lot of things that were very, very good. We won the Southwest Conference, and in those days for TCU, a school of 7,200, to defeat Texas and Arkansas, who were up in the 30 to 40 to 50,000, a lot of very large schools. It was quite an accomplishment for us. A lot of the success I had, I can very easily look back and say I can accredit it to what happened to me at Long Beach City College for my 2 years. I probably progressed more as a player the 2 years I was here at Long Beach City College than I did anywhere else. When I got involved in coaching, I'd say 90% of the things I did in coaching basketball and coaching golf were things I learned from people who were coaches at Long Beach City College. Tremendous staff here, tremendous amount of people that just really were at the top of their game in everything they did. So it was truly a remarkable 2 years for me. It shaped a lot of my life. I was fortunate enough when I came back as a result of having played at Long Beach City. I had a lot of connections. I had a lot of people. My name was out there. Long Beach was a district that was hard to get a job in at the time. I came back and was fortunate enough to get hired at Long Beach Poly. I was very fortunate. The principal at the time had been a vice principal at Millikan High School, which I'd attended. The athletic director had been the athletic director at Millikan when I was there. And Ed Nichols, the VP, had been a basketball coach at Franklin Junior High School, who I'd known for 15 years. So it was a great opportunity for me. I came into a situation and I just didn't realize how fortunate I was with the type of caliber of athletes we had in Long Beach at that time. I went to Wilson High School, was there for 15 years as the basketball coach. We had relative success. It was a difficult win at Wilson. Compton was still in their heydays. Long Beach Poly was very good. All the Moore League schools were exceptionally strong at that time. We had a fine run, but I was a perfectionist, and was one of those things that going to the CIF and getting to the second round wasn't enough for my ego. So as my kids and my family grew, and my kids were getting to the point where they were going to start participating in high school athletics, I decided to switch to golf. I've golfed before. Do I have knowledge of golf? Did I impart a lot of knowledge to the golfers at Wilson High School? Probably not. I was a good organizer. I was a golf facilitator who was lucky enough for 15 years to have some of the most unbelievably talented golfers the city of Long Beach has ever produced. And as a result, the record kind of speaks for itself, but it had nothing to do with him. Almost all of my golfers, both on the men and women's team, had their own individual gurus who they had their swing coaches and their professionals that they went to. And I was a pretty good organizer who was a pretty good cheerleader, and they were very, very successful. I'm real proud to become part of this group. If you look through the lobby and see the names of the people who preceded me in this, it's who's who in Long Beach, the city of Long Beach. And Long Beach City College will always have a very dear place in my heart. So thank you very much for the honor tonight. We'll get rid of that. You can keep it. We'll get rid of that one. Good one. Okay.
Thanks, Jim. Let me have a decade moment for just a second. Something I thought about going back to the start of this Hall of Champions. For about 2 years, maybe a little more than that, there were 2 or 3 of us that would sit around and talk about this college needs to have some way to recognize its great athletic heritage. And one of the guys who was real instrumental in that is here tonight with us. He was one of our dedicated counselors. He always put in a little extra for the student athletes, had a heart to come over. He'd come over here to the gym and show him how to put a guy on his hip so he could move him out of the way. And so I hope Bill Smitheren's hearing me talk about him, because I want to recognize Bill as that idea man, that guy that I could go to and we would share ideas. So Bill, would you stand up and be recognized as one of our idea people for this whole operation? Thank you, Bill. Our next inductee is another two-sport athlete, Carrie Jondal Burke. She was a volleyball player and a basketball player. She came to us as an all-CIF basketball player from St. Joseph High School. Basketball is the game in which she really excelled. Both years she led City College to a conference championship. Her head coach at the time, Donna Prindle, made the comment that Kara was a dominating player, a tremendous leader for our teams who loved to compete. In 1983, she set records for points, set a City College record points per game at 19.5, still ranks 4th all-time career with a scoring average of 17.1. She was the Metro Conference Player of the Year in 1983. Also that year, she received the highest possible honor. She was voted by the California Community College Women Basketball Coaches Association onto their all-SoCal team. She took her competitiveness into the business world. Today, she is currently a co-founder and a CFO in an oil royalty trading company, a very busy lady, and we're proud to have Carrie Jondal Burke with us tonight. You're coming to show, huh? She was being escorted up here by Megan Capik of volleyball and Brasida Concepcion of basketball. Megan was a two-year member of our volleyball team. She was named second team All-South Coast. Megan, raise your hand so we know what we're talking about. South Coast Conference, selected the team's most outstanding defensive player. Has made the Dean's List with great distinction and plans on transferring to San Francisco State University this fall to major in physical therapy. And also is Brasida Concepcion in basketball, originally out of Westchester High School. She played a forward as a freshman in the past season. Head coach Mike Anderson says she has a great work ethic, competes every minute she's on the court. Thank you very much and congratulations. All the best.
Thank you, and I'm honored to be here tonight. And I'm thrilled because there are more people here tonight to honor us than ever came to one of our girls' basketball games in those years, because nobody came to girls' basketball games 30-something years ago. It just didn't happen, so it's great to see everybody here tonight. When I was at Long Beach City, my fondest memories are not necessarily on the court, but off the court with my teammates and my coaches. And I had the honor of having Donna Prindle, my coach, for both sports, for both years. And while I was the perfect player for her, we had so much fun with her off the court. She took us to tournaments in San Diego, and she allowed us girls to be girls, and we were in the van singing Michael Jackson songs and hooting and hollering at boys out the window, and she would just sort of pretend she couldn't see in her rearview mirror. And we as a team and as girls sports, which is very different than the boys in those days, we had so much fun off the court, riding horses. We went horseback riding and just played around. But really one of my most fondest memories was always having our annual year-end banquet at Donna's house in her home. As a guest, she would bring us, all of our team, to her home and have this beautiful night, and we'd goof around, and I don't know, somebody played a guitar or something silly, and we did silly things. But she always made us a beautiful scrapbook and she put a lot of effort into this beautiful scrapbook for us, and with clippings and pictures and things that are so nice. And when poor Chuck. When Chuck was working trying to track me down, I would say, I have to find Donna's scrapbook. I can't remember a thing that happened so many years ago. So to Donna, I'm very grateful for all those great memories, not just on the court, but so many fun times after. And to my high school friend and mentor, to Margaret Boz, who went to high school with me and also coached me in volleyball in my second year here with Donna. She can't tell you any stories because I was a perfect player, but it was very fun to be here at Long Beach City with a lot of old friends. And coming from a native California Long Beach family, I have 7 brothers and sisters. A variety of them have been through here. One of my brothers here got a football scholarship, another brother went and played minor league baseball, another one got another football scholarship. But I want to tell you that having 6 brothers and 1 sister, I am the only one in the Hall of Champions, boys. Hello. Thank you.
You have to get them. They got you. Come here. Okay. Sis strikes back. Our next inductee comes to us from the sport of golf. Played here in 86 and 87. Trevor has what many of us in the room would almost die for, and that is a golf game. He held the Virginia Country Club record at 62 for many years. The only thing I see wrong with that personally is that he just does not get nearly as much exercise as I do when I go play. My scores allow for a lot more physical activity. I get a lot more out of the day than he does. He can take his 62, and I'll take my exercise, okay? Full-time job, here's another thing to die for. Full-time job as a golf instructor, a head pro at Virginia Country Club. He was our #1 seeded player both years at City. As a freshman, he was the #1 seed on our state championship team. In his sophomore year, he was the #1 seed on our state top 4 qualifier team. He was the Metro Conference Golfer of the Year. He went on to play at Cal State Long Beach, where he was their #1 for a couple of years. He's also been very generous with his skills and his talents by giving to the youth in Long Beach and to various charities. And so with that, we honor Trevor Baker tonight with a Hall of Champions. Escorting Trevor is sophomore Chris Bernard. Chris is a 2-year starter on our 211 golf team that is currently ranked #2 in Southern California. LBCC remains the all-time leader in the state with 11 Southern California titles and 8 state championships. So best of luck as the year goes on to you, Chris.
Thank you, Chef. Willie, thanks for sticking around and not shooting any hoops while we're doing this deal. I appreciate that. First of all, I want to thank Chuck and the committee. I'm humbled by this, Chuck, and appreciate your patience on your part for sticking with me and getting me in here. My heart goes out to a gentleman that spent a lot of time at City College, and that's Dr. John Kashiwabara. He and Coach Chafe were a couple of the people that I first ran into at Long Beach City College, and they really pointed me in the right direction here. Growing up in Long Beach and living here almost my whole life, I'd ride my bike down Carson, making a right-hand turn here and going to Bethany Lutheran School for 8 years, and I'd pass by this school and thinking what a big campus it was, and not really realizing at the time what it was and what it was all about. And when I got a little older, I learned how to swim over here in this pool with a kickboard and go back and forth, and still not realizing what a neat spot I lived in. And a couple years later, I'm playing tennis over here on these tennis courts and realized I wasn't very good at that. So about the age of 12, I took up golf because I wasn't very good at baseball. I couldn't jump, even though I was tall, so I didn't take up basketball either. So Coach Chafe found me playing around at Milliken High School on the local golf courses, and also Coach Del Walker. And not sure what I was going to do, and like a couple other people have said, this was a big step. I'm first generation going to college, my brother and I, so wasn't sure what to do. So Long Beach City College was a perfect fit for me. And I thank Coach Chafe for sticking with me, and whether it was giving me those PE classes that I needed or making sure I talked to John Castro-Barra and pointing me in the right direction there to get the coursework I needed, and just getting my feet underneath me while I was here. It's people like that you don't realize at the time, and you look back how much they mean to you. And Coach Del Walker, and I know quite a few people in the room know this gentleman, he was like my John Wooden. And he didn't talk the talk so much, but he walked the walk. And it reminds me of my father, who did the same thing. We say at work all the time, and appreciate you guys being here, and I love you like family. I feel really lucky to have myself surrounded by such people that we walk the walk. It's not, we have fun at what we do. I had fun with my father. I had fun with John Wooden, Del Walker. That's how much he meant to me. But these people walk the walk. And when you're growing up in a community like that and you're surrounding yourself with good people, whether it's, Gary Wishon telling me 20 years ago, if you play your cards right, you could be the head pro at Virginia Country Club someday. So sure enough, it comes true. Or Jamie Mulligan, I was a little frustrated at Virginia with the work environment there, and he gives me a call one day and he says, hey, let's go to Coyote Hills and let's work up there for a few years, and who knows, maybe we can get back to Virginia and go where we were raised, and we can be the pros there at the club. And to look back on those days and realize that, we're standing here, or I'm standing here this evening in front of you is a really good, it's touched me a lot, and my heart goes out to the people that have been with me in that journey. A couple people that I'd be remiss for not speaking of is obviously the people I work with. There's a whole couple tables back there full of them. I love you guys like family, like I've said before. You mean a bunch to me, and we spend a lot of time together, more than, the family I live at home with. So you guys are very dear to me. The members of Virginia Country Club, and I know there's a few of them here. I've been at Virginia Country Club for over 20 years, and you're like second parents to me. You've led by example. I've watched what you do, and I've tried to copy that. Even you, Mr. Rowland. I love you, man. The front table here that's come to be with me this evening, I don't even call her my mother-in-law. You're like a second mother to me. I'm what I am today because of the both of you. Mary, thanks for raising such a great young daughter as Jill, the love of my life for the last 24 years. I love you, babe. And the family in front for the last 10 years or so, having children, and those of you that have had children, they change your lives more than you know. They have a son, Luke, that's 10 years old, and my son, CJ, and you guys are in my Hall of Champions. So thank you. Thanks, man.
Thank you. Hang on. Yeah, hey, our pleasure. Another decade moment comes to me when I think about the people that came together with me about 12 years ago and put this together. There's 3 of them here tonight that were on our first committee, the committee that really did all of the planning, how we would induct people, wrote our Constitution, made decisions about how to decorate the Hall of Champions, did all of the real groundwork for where we are today. And so the 3 that are here tonight off of that first committee, are Dr. Tom Clark, Al Nichols, have Al stand up here, and Dr. Clark, and Bill Smitherin, again, was on that first committee. There's 3 of our original committee members. Listen to the people, the other people that were on that committee that formed this. Bill Barnes, Keith Cordes, Sam Demas, David Hillman, John Kashwabara, Bill Millington, Susie Atwood, Mickey Davis, and John Philpaugh. That's a solid crew of people to help you put together something that's going to last. So forever appreciated on my part. Thank you. We now go to a star in the field of track. We have here a real jewel from and for the city of Long Beach. Other than a couple of years when she moved over to UNLV, she is solid Long Beach. Poly High School athlete, City College, and now she's the girls' athletic director and assistant track coach at Poly. Both her years here at City, she was the conference champ and the state champ in the 200 meters and the 400 meters. In her sophomore year, she was a member of a state championship mile relay team. She was a junior college All-American, went on to UNLV, became a Big West champion, set indoor and outdoor records, was a strong NC2A championship competitor, was on the USA national team for 4 years, ranked as high as 4th in the world in the indoor 400, won a silver and a gold medal at the Pan Am Games in the 4x400 relay. Let's welcome Crystal Irving. Crystal is being escorted by freshman Samantha Allen. Samantha was an outstanding cross-country and middle distance runner at Long Beach Poly High School. She originally attended Sac State before returning home to Long Beach. She missed competing and decided to come out for cross-country at City, where she became the top runner this past fall and qualified for the state championships. Congratulations.
Good evening and thank you. It's a great honor to be here tonight. Long Beach I do love. I was raised here, and I've been at Poly for 14 years now. I remember about 9 years ago I was offered a job at UNLV to be the head coach, and I turned it down because I wanted to stay here in Long Beach because I feel that Long Beach, especially at the high school level, kids need that support. And I remember coming out of Long Beach Poly, and I wasn't quite ready to go on to a 4-year university. So I came to Long Beach City. Coach Ron Alice, Coach Richardson came to my home, talked to me. I came to Long Beach City, competed here, had a great 2.5 years here. After that, went on to UNLV on a full scholarship, and I was lucky enough to stay there, run professionally, and just make my family proud. Get my degree in teaching as well after I came back. One of my biggest supporters was my mom. She's in heaven right now. But she was my biggest fan, my biggest supporter. I remember my second year of running track when I was in junior high. I took second place, and so I told my mom that I wanted to quit track. And she said, you know, but did you really work hard? Did you give 110%? I said, no, I just usually win, and I don't really work too hard. And she said, well, you know, let's try working out and really dedicating, not just going to the track meets and see how it comes out. So by the time I went to the next year, I was running high school times in junior high. And I went from running the 1 and 2 and long jumping to running the 400. I had got injured, and Coach John Norford, who I work with now, he's also my godfather, he put me in the 400, and I ran like 57 my first time out. I really didn't know what I was doing. I was just running and trying to beat my competition, and I was blessed that year to take second at state as a sophomore in high school. So college really prepared me for, especially here at Long Beach City, to be an adult, to be responsible, because no one brings you to class. You have to go to class, you have to do the work, and it prepared me to be a responsible young lady. It opened up a lot of doors for me, and I'm still receiving some of those blessings right now. And tonight is a great honor for those who are here supporting me. My Uncle Johnson is here, my mom's brother, his son Jay, my daughter Jada, my friend LaShonda Ube, who I also ran here with at Long Beach City. My coach, Coach Dan, it's a blessing to see you. I haven't seen you since I graduated. And the great Elias, I love you so much. And I'm just glad for everyone that is here supporting me. I thank you. Please support Long Beach Poly as much as possible. Our girls just this past weekend were the national indoor champions at the New York indoor meet. So we're trying to have a great season and do it again for you. Thank you.
Very nice. Very nice. You're special. Thank you. All right. Okay, finally. Now you say, finally, because it's been a long night? No, not finally, because it's been a little bit of a long night, not a long, long night. But finally, we get to induct this man who has been on our short list for 10 years. But there was always something that kind of got in the way. I think we called it March Madness. And so we just never could really bring him in because we wanted him here. We wanted to share the evening with him. And so finally we got to a point where we said, well, okay, maybe we can get lucky. And Gary Anderson gave him a phone call and said, Coach, could you be available on such and such date if we induct you? And Luke graciously said yes, he could and would. Before I get a little further on this, it's pretty special tonight. I'm going to have 3 people stand here along with Lute. And we've already taken their picture. It's a great picture for the history of Long Beach City College. But Lute's assistant coach, and the coach that followed him, Bill Frazier. Stand up, Bill, if you would, please. Great coach here. Gary Anderson, who was Bill's assistant and was also a player for Lute. Gary, please stand. And Barry Barnes, our current basketball coach, please stand. Congratulations, Barry, on getting into the playoffs this year. What you have here with these men standing up right now, Bill Frazier, Gary Anderson, Barry Barnes, and Lute Olson, you have 42 years of consecutive head coaching experience at Long Beach City College. Lute, this room must bring back great and sometimes some painful memories, mostly good ones. I'm sure one painful one was losing in a triple overtime in the 1970 state playoff game right here in this gym. I remember I came to that game, and I was sitting in the very top corner up there in that balcony. The place was sold out. I think they turned away about 1,000 people. You played Compton. If Gary could have made a shot at the end of the ball game, you'd have... Now, the real truth of the matter is that the guy that was guarding Gary admitted years later that he goaltended Gary's shot, but the officials are always the guys that get blamed. They didn't call it. So Gary's off the hook for that. But what a great start. He comes here, and in the first year, he takes a team to the state championship game. We're real proud to have been a part of one of the most distinguished college coaching careers in this nation. Coached at 3 universities, went to, speaking of March Madness, went to 28 NC2A playoff appearances. The only year he didn't go at Arizona in his 24 years was the first year, and then 23 consecutive years after that, he took Arizona into the NC2A playoffs. It's just unheard of. Took teams to five teams to Final Fours, won an NC2A championship, won a world championship. He has won more Pac-10 games than any other Pac-10 coach in the history of the Pac-10, and that's including the wonderful John Wooden, the Wizard, Well, we have our own wizard here, and this all culminated with him being selected into the Naismith Memorial Basketball Hall of Fame, the highest honor possible to a coach in collegiate basketball. Okay, now with that said, we're going to get to the important stuff. Okay, and the important stuff is it all began here at LBCC. And if the man that we all love, Del Walker, were here, he'd tell that story. And I know you've heard it told many times, but Del Walker was in Lute's corner to get the job. I don't know who else was in the finals, but I remember Del, the story goes that Del told him, he said, well, if you don't hire this guy, you might as well go out and hire a new athletic director because I'm not around anymore. And he put himself on the line for Lute. But what really made the difference, I'm told, is when the interviews were over, and Lute was the last one to interview, as he came out of the president's office, as he's walking out, the secretary says to Del, come here, hire him, he's cute. So, and I suppose Del told it enough time, and he was a good Christian man that I don't think he was making that up. Anyway, you've had some great teams here. His 4 years here, his teams won of his 4 years, he won the conference 3 years and was second in the other year. Won over 80% of their games. He was the Metro Coach of the Year 3 of his 4 years. Won a state championship. Was a runner-up another year. Inducted into the California Junior College Basketball Coaches Hall of Fame. And I'm sure you're proud of the fact that Bill Frazier, who followed you, and Gary Anderson, one of your players, has also been inducted into the Community College Basketball Hall of Fame. Lute becomes the last inductee of our Hall of Champions' first decade. Del Walker was the first inductee into our Hall of Champions. That's a pretty good pair of bookends for our first decade. Lute Olson. Lute was accompanied by a sophomore, Kyle Clark. Kyle was a 2-year member of the basketball team. He was named second team All South Coast Conference at the position of center this past season. All the best to you.
Thank you, Chuck. It's been nice to get back here again. I did come by here almost every time I was recruiting in Southern California, and to see Gary and to watch his team work out for a while before I'd go on and try to convince some young man to leave California to come to the desert. But we had good success in getting that done with a lot of outstanding young men from California. Before I lose my wife of 11 months, Kelly, I chased her until she couldn't run anymore, but anyway, she's someone said, "You're looking younger each day," and I said, well, that's trying to keep up with her that has that that effect on me. But anyway, the story about Del Walker was very true. You know, it's just one of those things, I guess, when you meet someone that you immediately connect, and there were a lot of candidates that were being pushed by a lot of people, and I didn't have anybody pushing me. I was interested in leaving high school after 13 years, and I had come home one afternoon from school at Marina High School and told my wife, Bobby, that I was not going to be an old high school coach because I had just finished having, we called it head duty, where you had to go into the boys' restroom at lunch and during nutrition to make sure the guys weren't in there smoking. And then the other things we were called on was to come to the lunchroom if there was a problem. It was always the PE coaches that had to break up fights and do that kind of thing. And so I came home and told Bobby, I'm not going to be an old high school coach. I'm going to apply for some junior college jobs. And we had some great teams at Marina, and it opened the doors for me. So I came here and met Del, and the story is true that he said that if to President Garner that if you don't hire Lute Olson as my basketball coach, well, you can look for a new AD, and that's for that guy. You know, Del was a very special person to, I'm sure, everybody in this room. Great man, and I really owe my opportunity on the collegiate level to Del Walker. I was a counselor here. I have my master's degree in guidance and counseling and educational psychology. I used everything that I ever knew or read about on human behavior when I had to deal with these guys over here at this table. You know, one of the great things about teaching at Long Beach or coaching at Long Beach City was, you know, you had such a great rapport with the instructors at the college that if somebody missed a class, why, you found out about it before you'd go to practice, and of course none of these guys ever missed a class, but but I remember David Hillman from Poly worked for me in the office at lunch hour when I'd go out and have lunch, and David came in one day, and he's standing at the door, and I said, "You're not working today?" And he said, why is that? And I said, well, why weren't you in your English class at 10 o'clock this morning? And he couldn't believe that I knew he wasn't in his English class, but that's the kind of relationship we had with the professors here. I've worked at some outstanding universities with high academic standards, but I'll tell you, the first 2 years of a young person's life, you get the best instruction at a place like Long Beach City College than you would ever get at any four-year school. I think Dave Frost said it best that, and he went on to Stanford, and he said it's easier to get a B at Stanford than it is at Long Beach City College. So that gives you an idea of the kinds of demands that were placed on the athletes academically as well. I had the great pleasure here of working with an outstanding group of young men. There were probably times that they didn't think that I was a wonderful man when we were running lines and doing a few things that that happened to anyone anytime someone didn't quite play like I thought they should be playing. But we had a lot of fun, and the biggest thing was that we won a lot of ball games, but we had fun doing it too. I think as I look at Al LaRock over here, Al was from Lakewood High School, and we were playing at Pasadena City College in that crummy gym over there, and we were beating him pretty good, and that doesn't mean, Al, the only time you went in was when we were beating someone pretty good, but But one of the funniest things I've ever seen on film was watching Al goes driving through to the basket, and while he's going up, somebody takes the ball away from him, and he continues right on up. Great concentration on the rim. The only thing that was missing was the basketball. But I think that particular night we hit like 32 out of 46 field goal attempts, and I think we missed our first free throw and made like 30 in a row after that. So it didn't have anything to do with coaching. It had to do with guys with a tremendous amount of ability. We had a reunion of these guys over in Tucson. Brought them all over for the Fiesta Bowl Basketball Classic, which was held between Christmas and New Year's, and then had them over to the house afterwards to enjoy some food, and we had a lot of fun doing it. And I remember they brought me a Viking helmet. You know, sits there, and of course it's got the I don't know if you'd call them horns or what they are, but I thought it was because I was, I'm a full-blooded Norwegian, so I thought probably they were bringing it for that. But then they said, "Coach, we know you won't put this on for a picture," but I shocked them. I put the thing on, and I still have that picture of the whole crew out on our pool deck with that helmet on. But we had a lot of fun at that time too, and it really was nice coming in here again tonight, Chuck. And I remember the gymnastic team used to work out up here and got chalk dust all over the floor, and we were slipping and sliding. But when I would break the group up and tell them to go shoot free throws, there was a beeline for the two baskets on this side so that they could be looking up at these beautiful young girls up there. And I thought it was that they were so anxious to get there to practice their free throws, but I found out it was not that at all. But it was a great 4 years, and I love my time here. I was a counselor to 400 student athletes each year, and I enjoyed that too, and have gotten letters from young people that said that I said something that really turned them on to doing what they ended up doing, and that was blind luck actually, but it was fun from the counseling standpoint and from really fun from the coaching standpoint. So I thank you very much for inducting me into this. I thought probably after 40 years I should at least be considered anyway. So Gary had called me, and we set up the time way back in October. I think that we set the time up, and little did I know that Arizona was going to be playing Memphis in Tulsa today and won. But the coach from Memphis, Josh Passner, was from our program at Arizona and is the head coach at Memphis, so it was sort of difficult sending a text to Josh today and also sending a text to Sean Miller congratulating one on a great win and telling the other one he got a lousy deal on one of the last calls. so that'll have both of them happy anyway. But thank you very much.
Well, that concludes our inductions. What we do now is have all of tonight's inductees come right here in front of the podium. and stand up here. This is the group photo time to get a shot. So if everybody who was inducted tonight, please come forward and just line up here in front of the podium, please. And we'll get a nice, those of you that want to take a picture of this group, now's the time to prepare for that. We thank you for coming. It's been a wonderful night.